the brand new Hero Arts Friends with Flair release. And this one is just really fun to make too. Lots of texture, some ink blending, and a little experimenting along the way. I'm going to be playing with tinted paste and building up that denim look, and I'll walk you through how it all came together. Welcome back to my channel and my craft room. I'm Kelly Wicker, and I'm so happy to have you here. If you're in the mood for something fun and a little different, I think you'll enjoy this one. So let's get started. Okay, y'all, I'm back to share another card I made using the new Hero Arts Friends with Flair release. This is going to be card share number 2. I've just been really enjoying this set. As a Hero Arts affiliate, I received a couple of items from the collection. The jean jacket layering stencil, and then the totally awesome stamp set. So fun. So for this card, I decided to go ahead and play around with Hero Arts paste in white. And then I'm going to be tinting it with Distress Oxide Reinker and Prize Ribbon. I also am going to be ink blending with Hero Arts inks to build up the background. It was just so fun to try something a little different with the paste on this one. I'll have my Hero Arts affiliate links listed in the description box below. Using those links helps support my channel, and I really appreciate it so much. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing in the card I'm making today. Here it is. It's really cool. I just had to show it off before I get started. Check out that fun texture from the paste. I think the camera's picking it up there. I love how it turned out. Just super cool. So what I did with the paste is I used Hero Art paste in white, and then I used Distress Oxide ink, Reinker, and Prize Ribbon to customize the paste to match the card. So it looks really cool. And I'll show you how I did that in a little bit. But anyways, I just wish the heat embossing came out just a little cleaner. See right there? Hopefully that will come out better in the video. But honestly, it still looks really good. I finished it off with some Hero Arts gems and matted it onto some blue cardstock from my stash. And then added everything to a white top folded note card. It's A2 in size. This one was just so fun to make. So without further ado, let's get into the card making fun, y'all. Okay, so I'm starting out with some ink blending on the jean jacket. I pulled out my waffle flower grip mat to hold everything in place, the cardstock and the stencil, and I just love this mat so much. It really makes stenciling so much easier. You're going to love this stencil set because it's super easy to line up. There are registration marks on there to help with that, but I'm not really using those today. So today I'm showing how to create the back of the jacket, and if you missed it, I just shared a video the other day where I created the front and added some bling to it. Super fun. So this stencil is just so versatile. There are so many different ways you can customize it. I'm using a few different blue inks from Hero Arts today and blending with my Hero Arts blending brush. I'm starting with the base layer of the stencil using Summer Sky. So I did speed this part up just a little bit because it took me a bit longer to film the ink blending and just blend everything out evenly. I like to take my time with ink blending, especially on a larger area like this, just to make sure everything looks nice and smooth. So for the next layer, I'm going in with the stencil marked back 1, and I'm using indigo. You can already start to see that dimension building, which is really fun. I'm also making sure to clean off my blending brush in between colors so I don't muddy up the blues. I do actually keep this brush dedicated just for blues, which really helps. That way I'm not worrying about leftover colors from something else mixing in, and it just keeps everything nice and clean when I'm blending. That looks so cool. So for the last color here, I'm going to be going in with Nautical for stencil back number 2. These inks are fairly new and still nice and juicy, which really helps with ink blending. That's one thing I've definitely learned. Having well-inked pads makes such a difference when ink blending. If your pads are a little dry, it's going to be harder to get that smooth blend. I'm going to lift the stencil up just a little bit to check how everything is looking, and just cleaning off the stencil here in between. And oh man, that looks so good. I'm really happy with how those layers came together. So I'm going to keep the stencil in place because next I'm going to go in with some Hero Arts paste. So next up, I'm pulling out my Hero Arts palette knife and some Hero Arts white paste, along with my Distress Oxide re-inker and prize ribbon to color the paste. I'm also going to mix a little bit of rock candy glitter, clear glitter, and some rock candy chunky glitter, just for some fun to see what kind of texture and sparkle I get. So I'm going to scoop out some of the paste and put it down onto my glass mat. And don't forget to give your Distress Oxide re-inker a really good shake before using it. That makes a big difference. Then I'll add a few drops into the paste, mix in the glitter, and give it a light mist of water. The water just helps loosen everything up a bit and makes it easier to mix and spread the paste smoothly over the stencil. I'm just mixing everything together here, trying to get the consistency that I want. This part is honestly really fun. Have you all tried this yet? Let me know. I love being able to customize the paste to match my project. It just adds something a little extra. And since I already have the stencil in place, I figured why not go ahead and add some paste. It's a great way to build even more texture on top of the ink blending. I think this color is looking really good, so now I'm just picking up some of that paste and placing it right onto the stencil. Then I'm using my palette knife to spread it across the entire stencil, just making sure everything is covered evenly. I may have used a little more paste than I needed here, but that's okay. It's still going to look great, and I'd rather have full coverage than miss any spots. And one quick tip, make sure to take your stencil to the sink and clean it off right away once you're done. You definitely don't want that paste drying on there. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and I'll be right back. I love how that turned out, all the ink blending and the paste, just so cool. So it's time to do some heat embossing. I'm starting by treating my panel with an anti-static powder bag just in the areas where I want to heat emboss. That really helps keep the embossing powder only where you want it. Then I'm going to be bringing in my MISTI. I do keep a waffle flower grip mat inside mine to help hold things in place. It's a little bit messy right now, sorry about that. And it's not quite as sticky as it used to be, so I'm also going to hold my panel down with a little bit of pixie tape just to keep everything from shifting. So next I'm pulling out the Totally Awesome Clear Stamp Set. There are so many fun sentiments in this one. Today I'm going to be using You Are Totally Awesome and You've Got This. I'm inking everything up with Hero Arts clear ink, and I'm stamping it a couple of times to get a really nice solid impression. I'm also using my stamp pressure tool to help with that. And honestly, where would we be without our MISTI? It just makes this part so much easier. Okay, so I probably only really needed to stamp this one since my embossing ink is still pretty newish and juicy, but I like to stamp it a couple of times just to be on the safe side. So that's honestly one of my favorite things about using the MISTI. You can stamp in the exact same spot over and over again without worrying about things shifting. It just takes all the guesswork out of it. When you're heat embossing, having a really good solid impression is important because you want that embossing powder to stick evenly to all the stamped areas. If you miss a spot or it's a little light in places, the powder won't grab as well and it can look a little patchy, kind of like on my first card that I showed at the beginning. So going in and stamping it a second time just helps reinforce everything and makes the image look more bold and crisp. Sometimes I'll even stamp a third time if I feel like it needs it, especially with larger sentiments like this one. So I'm pressing down firmly but not too hard, just enough to make sure I get a really good contact across the whole stamp. I'll kind of like move my hand around a little bit to make sure I'm hitting all the areas evenly. It just gives me that extra confidence that everything is going to emboss nicely once I add the powder. Okay, so then I'm going to be bringing in a piece of copy paper and placing my panel on top. I'll pour over some Hero Arts white embossing powder over both stamped images, making sure everything is covered. After that, I tap off the excess onto the copy paper and use it to funnel the leftover powder right back into the container. Nice and easy cleanup. So now for the fun part. I'm grabbing my Wagner heat gun, making sure it's nice and hot, and then I'll start melting the powder. This part never gets old. It's always so satisfying to watch. I'm never tired of it. So next it's time to assemble the card. I already have a blue matte layer trimmed down off camera, So I'm just going to use my Spellbinders tape runner to adhere the card panel onto that. Then I'll bring in my Score Buddy to create a top folded note card. I love using this tool. It just makes getting a nice clean fold so easy. So for my note card today, I'm using Hammermill cardstock. This makes really great note cards. It's nice and sturdy, which I really like. So I'm scoring the cardstock at 5.5 inches to create an A2 top folded note card. Then I'll go in with my bone folder to crease that fold and get it nice and crisp. So just a little tip, if you ever get any fraying from your paper trimmer like I sometimes do, I like to use a sanding block to smooth out the edges. It really helps clean everything up nicely. So now we have our note card ready to go, and I'm just going to adhere everything together with my tape runner. I did end up fixing the note card off camera. I had a little bit too much white showing on the right side, so I just had to adjust that. So next I'm pulling out some Hero Arts gems from my stash. These are actually kind of old, but they still work great, and I'm just placing them around the card to finish everything off. So what do y'all think about this card? And are you thinking about picking up this collection? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. It's a really fun one, and I'll have the bundle link down below. There are so many great items in this Friends with Flair collection from Hero Arts to create with. I'll also have my Hero Arts affiliate links listed in the description box. Using those links really helps support my channel, and I truly appreciate it. Let's wrap up today's card making session. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. I really enjoy sharing my card making process with you all. It keeps me busy and it's just a lot of fun for me. I appreciate y'all so much. I'll see you in the next card making video. Ciao for now.